Hello, and welcome back to the Health by Harry channel. So today we're going to be taking you through a beginner's guide to running accessories. So when you first start running, I think it's quite an overwhelming space. There's so many different products that you see people wearing. Obviously the ones that look the best and look like the most efficient and everything like that are normally up to like a pair of running shoes for £300, which as a beginner you're probably not here to do. Okay, so I'm going to give you a guide to looking at things that I've tried out over the years that are pretty much most of the time not expensive, apart from two things which I'll tell you right now that are on the more expensive range, which are going to be your smartwatch and then your pair of running shoes, which I'll be going through in this video in a lot of detail. So first up, I'm going to go with one of the most important that I think is going to be really helpful in your running journey, and that is going to be your smartwatch. Okay, so what I'm wearing right now is the Garmin Fenix 7S. So this is very over the top. It's not something I'd recommend too much for a beginner because it's got 30 days of battery life. I bought it before I was doing the ultra marathon in February, and I wanted to just make sure that I had a watch that was going to last the whole way through, because anyone that's had an Apple Watch before, which is what I had before that, if you were running for multiple hours, it would start to die very fast. And obviously I didn't want that happening when I was running. Like on my training runs, some of the runs were like 5 hours plus. So with that, it all comes down to what you're going to be using it for. Like there's very basic watches you can get for a couple £100, okay? And this is going to be watches such as, you could get a basic Fitbit, one with a screen on it, I would advise, just so you can actually see your running stats. Next up, you've got an Apple Watch, and obviously you can go back a few models to get it a little bit cheaper. I would say that we're all the same. We all want the newest technology all the time, but the Apple Watch Series 5, 6 is still going to be very useful for someone that's a beginner and you're just trying to track a few runs per week. And I just want to touch on that point of expensive or not expensive. So running is an investment. You're going to have to spend some money in order to see your results, in order to improve, in order to actually be able to do it in a way where you're not going to get injured, and you can track where you're going with things. So the reason I say that about the watch is it is going to be something where you're going to be able to track each run. You're going to be able to see what pace you did. You're going to be able to see how far you went, how many runs you did in the whole week. You can then connect up to something like Strava or Runner, which are both running apps, and it will then show you your distance you covered in a week, and then you can look at maybe increasing that by 1 to 2K the week after. So super useful. Next up, what I wanted to go through is the heart rate monitor. So you can get one of these that is show you here. So it's a chest strap, this one. So literally, it's got a strip down the middle. You get this wet. I'd normally lick it, which is actually a bit gross because sometimes I don't wash it. But anyway, it's fine. And then you have this little sensor here. So this is basically the Garmin version. There's a lot of different brands of it. The Garmin one. This was £40 on Amazon. You connect it onto here, like so. And then this is then going to connect up to my watch and show me what my heart rate is, okay? So the reason I would recommend getting one of these is because from when you first start running, you want to be looking at your paces based on certain heart rate zones. So typically a lot of your running at the beginning is going to be long, slow running, okay? It's not going to be trying to go as quick as you can because we're trying to build that zone 2 heart rate base, okay? So obviously, like, watches have them built in. It's got a heart rate monitor in here, but it is wildly inaccurate. Okay, so this, for example, I can be literally blowing out of my arse on a run, feeling like I'm about to keel over, and this will be telling me I'm on like 120 beats per minute. And that's clear. If that was the case, I'd be feeling amazing. Like if I was on 120 beats per minute, going really quick. So get one of these. I would really recommend it as soon as you start and as soon as you can afford it, because it's going to be so useful. And like if you think about myself, I've run for multiple years and I've used one of these for a long time now. And the battery life in it is crazy. It keeps going and going. One tip with it, if you get this one, well, whatever one you get, you want to make sure that when you finish your run, you disconnect this, because the battery carries on running when it's connected. And I've gone through the mistake of not doing that, and the battery died really quick. So don't make the mistake I did there. Okay, next up we have the sunglasses. Oh yeah, look at those for style. So this is something that I'm not going to go into loads of detail on. Obviously, we all know the purpose of sunglasses, partly to look really cool whilst you're running, but also to protect your eyes from the sun and the rain. These, surprise, were £20 on Amazon, okay? They're really simple. They're nothing that fancy. You can get like another lens with it. Very, very simple. Obviously, we probably have all seen that you can go up to something like £200-300 on a pair of Oakleys. I might do that one day, but I still can't justify it considering the UK has like 10 days of sun per year. So £20, I just wear them pretty much when I'm on holiday because there's just no use for them in the UK. But they make you look absolutely the coolest dude around. Okay, so if you're thinking about sun and you're thinking about rain, I would say get yourself a cap, okay? This is the Sealy, CLA, however you want to say it. This is my like go-to running hat, okay? This keeps my head super cool whilst I've got it on. It's got the sort of technology where it allows you to, it's like breathable, so it allows you to sweat in it. So obviously it's good for the sun, so that's going to keep the sun off your face. I find that any time that it's raining and I'm going out for a run, wearing a cap is so helpful because obviously rain's coming down, as we all know, and sometimes sideways. But this is going to protect you from just getting that rain in your eyes. It's so annoying when you're running and the rain's going in your eyes. So I would use it for that purpose, not just for the sun, but for the rain as well. Cool, so now I'm going to move into something that's going to be a little bit more, not necessarily advanced, but it's something that I would say I would recommend for anyone who's in the beginner stages and wants to be able to carry some fluids with them, carry things like that. So obviously when you're starting out with running, you're probably going to get tired quite quickly. You're probably going to lose energy. You're going to be in a position where you want to have some water or something on you, okay? So next one that we have is the running belt. So with the running belt, it is a belt obviously that goes around your waist and it's got this one that I got it on Amazon. You'll probably find that most things I buy are on Amazon. You can obviously go to places like Nike and get these sort of things for lots more money. But we're talking about beginner here and we're talking about keeping things not that expensive as well. So it's got a little pouch in here that you can put your phone in and your keys. Really, really useful. And then you just strap it around your waist. It's got two holders for these 200, I think they're 200 ml, 175 ml water bottles, okay? So you literally, let me just put it in. So you put it in like that, you put a little strap over the top, and then it means that it's super accessible for you to get water out, bang, drink, done. Don't chuck it away, keep it. I don't know why I did that. So I've had one of these for years, used that for a very long time, and then if you're then wanting to take it to another level and you need to carry even more things, and this might be coming away from beginner and going a little bit more experienced when you're looking at things like a half marathon training or marathon or anything else, we then can look at a running vest, okay? So this is just the, again, Amazon. It is basically, you put it on, I'll put it on for you, just to model it. Just note to self, it takes longer than I thought to put on. But when you're actually doing your run, it's super useful. Okay, so with this, as you can see, it goes round your chest. It's got a big part on the back where you can also put in a water bladder, so you can have a lot of water in there. But it's also got these nifty little pits here, so you can put 2 water bottles in here. And then you can either take them out or just have them from there. You can also get straws that are extendable that come up to your mouth instead of even having to take it out. This is another one that holds 250 mils, so you could have 500 mils of water on you in each of these. And then if you're running those longer distances, you can also pack snacks in here. So when I was doing the really long runs, I would have like peanut butter sandwiches in there. I would have Haribo. I would have gels. I'd have all these different things to help you to keep you going, which I'm going to cover off on in a second in terms of fuel sources, okay? Okay, I'm going to show you one more mode of carrying your phone, and then I'm going to move on to running shoes. Okay, so next thing we have here is the bum bag. This thing is probably, I mean, obviously a watch and shoes are pretty useful for running, but this thing, oh my God, this is like probably my favorite thing that I own for running. So this was £10 from Decathlon. I had another one that was from Primark that died on me that was like £6. It is literally a bum bag, so simple, and it holds my phone and my keys. Like I have a pet peeve about running with a phone in my hand. I can't stand it, it does my head in. And then also those people that run with their phone in their pocket and their pockets like flying around, no thank you. So this, one of the most useful things you can get, £10. Okay, cool, so now we're gonna go on to running shoes, so your trainers. Lastly, after that, we're going to look at some electrolytes and some gels that we can use as well. So when it comes to your shoes, obviously when you're first starting out, you're probably not going to be buying like some fast shoes, some long run shoes, some slow shoes. I would recommend, because most of your runs at the start are going to be long, slow runs, I would recommend looking at some really nice cushioned shoes, okay? So these here are the Hoka Bondi 9s. These are a shoe that I've had these ones for about a year now, so I probably am due a an update, which is always really exciting to get a new pair of running shoes. But these are so cushioned, right? So when you're doing these longer runs, they're going to keep your foot nice and supported. They're super comfy, and you're just not really going to have any issues with it, okay? It's very much a comfort shoe rather than a like performance shoe, okay? Because when we're looking at performance, we're then going into the realm of buying a second and third pair of shoes, which for a beginner, maybe not the case, but I'm still gonna show you a pair of each anyway so that you can use it as comparison. So next up, we have a shoe that we're trying to look at for more of our, when we're getting into some speedier runs, okay? So if you're a beginner, if you use an app such as Runner, they're going to be, at some points, you're going to see runs in your program that are going to be probably a little bit more pacey than your slow long runs, okay? And that's where a shoe like this comes in, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. So this is, I've had this for 4 months, and it's not carbon fiber, but it's a bit more springy than a shoe like the Hoka that I just showed you. So this is going to give you a bit more responsiveness. This absolutely stinks as well, so I shouldn't have this too close to my face. So much more responsiveness when you're running is going to help you to just get a little bit more spring in your step. It's not going to be as like comfortable as the Hoka, so I wouldn't recommend it when you first start out. But it means that you're able to just get a bit more from your runs and be able to get a little bit quicker without as much effort. They're also very, very light. Now finally, I'm just going to show you the fastest one that I have. So these are the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, and these are literally just for race shoes, okay? These weigh nothing, they're ridiculous, and they've got a carbon fiber plate in, so they're super stiff. You can see like how stiff that is. I can't bend it at all. Compared to the Hoka, it completely bends round. So the difference being with these two shoes is the purpose of them, right? So with this, we're aiming here more for like race day, for a run where you're not trying to run for a long period of time. You're running for, let's say you've got a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, even a marathon in this, it would be great. And because of the carbon fiber plate, it's going to help you to spring. It's going to help to propel you forward. Be able to get more work done without putting too much effort in. Obviously, when we look at these, we're going up another price bracket. So the Hokas, which I showed you first, they were around 150 to 160 pounds. And then you've got the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4s, which were the second one I showed. They are around 180 pounds. And then you have these ones, which are 230 pounds. So at the beginning, when you're first starting out, I wouldn't be recommending to get something like this because it's super expensive. But as you start to get more and more into things, you're looking at competitiveness, you're looking at trying to get quicker, trying to beat your last PB that you did. Something like that is going to really help you. Okay, now lastly, the last thing I want to go through with you is going to be looking at electrolytes. Okay, so when we're in our runs, we're going to be sweating. Everyone sweats, but they sweat at a different amount, okay? So you're gonna have people that sweat a little bit, some people that sweat a lot. I sweat a lot, so I have to make sure that I'm constantly refueling on electrolytes. So I'm gonna show you two different types of electrolytes which are gonna help you. So first ones we're gonna show you are the cheaper ones, which I'd probably recommend for anyone that's a beginner runner. I think one of the biggest mistakes that happens when people start running is they don't understand how to fuel properly, and obviously food is gonna be a big, that's your main fueling that you're doing. But then when we look at hydration, people just come back, have a little glass of water, and they think they're good for the day. Then they start to see the rest of their day get affected. They're really tired. They're not doing their work properly. They're getting snappy at their partner. All these things I have done in the past. So make sure you're hydrated, and it's going to put you in such a better position. So these are the High Five Zero Sugar tablets. So these are literally, I think I paid £23 for, or maybe £30 or something like that, for 8 packs, so 8 tubes with 20 of these in each, I believe. I might have just made that up. I think it's around 20 in there. So what you've got from here is 250 grams of sodium, okay, milligrams of sodium, sorry. And what the reason you want that is so that we're replacing and replenishing those salt levels, which are going to be dropping down as you sweat. So as you sweat, you release salt in your sweat, and then we want to be increasing the amount of that in our body again through something like this, okay? So 250 milligrams per tablet. I typically have one of these first thing when I wake up, and then if I'm going on a run, I would have one of these before and then one of these after, okay? So that I'm getting, like with that run, for example, I'm gonna have 500 milligrams, one before, one after. And that's for something that's a bit of a shorter run for me, so something like 30 to 40 minutes. If we're then going above the hour mark and we're going to be requiring, to replenish more of our salts, then we're looking at something like this. So this is Precision Hydration, a very good brand, and this is basically, and they've also got Precision Fuel, and this is basically, per tablet is 500 milligrams, so it's literally double this. Obviously, you could just double up the tablets in here. What I tend to do, especially when I've got a really long sweaty run, is going to be I have one of these and I put one of these in the same drink. So now I've got 750 milligrams. And that's going to really help me to replenish. Trust me, you're probably thinking this is a little bit overkill, but if you really try running and just having a little bit of water afterwards, and then try out having some supplements like this, some electrolytes, you'll notice a world of difference in how much you're able to recover before and after your run. Okay, final one with the electrolytes is going to be a gel. So when we're running for anything longer than like 45 minutes to an hour, which when you're first starting out, you're probably not going to be doing, but as you start to get into it, once you get the bug and you sign up to your first half marathon, you're then going to start running after over an hour. So the next thing that we have is this. It's 30 grams of carbohydrates per gel. Typically, it's going to come a lot from sugar, and it's going to look at different sources as well, such as, like, if we look in here, we've got 50 per serving, we've got 30 grams of carbohydrates, 12 grams of sugar, and then when we look at what's actually in it, it's typically in these are going to be maltodextrin. Yeah, so this is basically just a form of carbohydrates that we're going to be using. So typically something like this is just going to give you that boost that you need as everything's starting to flag, as your energy levels are dropping in a run. This is going to really help you to replenish that, okay? Okay, and finally, the last part of the video is going to be based around safety. So last November, I got hit by a car when I was running. It was dark. I was on a main road, not like running on a main road, I was on a pavement. But a car came out of a little junction and it looked the way of where the traffic was coming, didn't think to look the other way where I was, and it went straight into me. I actually had some high-vis stuff on though, but even with that, he didn't see me. So wear bright clothes, but then there's two things, not four things. Two things that I would take with you that are going to help. So first one is something like this. My mum got me this for Christmas and I actually wear it every time I go out for a run at night. If you're trying to run like before work in the winter or after work, you're probably gonna be running in the dark. So something like this is super advisable. So it literally goes on like this, and then you can clip it on. There's a little clip here. You clip it onto like your shorts, clip it onto a bum bag or whatever. And then if it's charged right now, here we go. Oh yeah, flashing away. So super important, because when we are running, people don't see you all the time, okay? And it's really important to stay safe when you're out there. The final one that we're looking at for a safety aspect is this. So when you're running at night, you might think this is a bit overkill again, but if you're running somewhere dark and you can't see the ground, there is a big chance that you're going to trip up on something. So I won't point this right at the camera because it's super bright. And it basically, this one has like a sensor where it will stay off until I do this. And then you can put it on like night mode. There's loads of different modes that you can do. So safety, one of the biggest things that you're going to be thinking about when you're doing your runs, because if you're not safe, then you're not going to be running for very long because you're going to get hit by a car. So don't do that. So safety first, make sure that's a priority. Everything else in the video is all on the relatively cheap end of buying things for running, apart from the watch and the trainers. If you want any help with any advice on any of these, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to come back to you with some help.